Hey, everyone. Hey, crew. All right, great job, team. 1 second. All right. All right. Welcome, team. Okay. So, any questions? We will do some. Oh, can you guys hear me? Yeah? Okay. I'm assuming since the cow went quiet. Yep. Okay, thanks, Vivian. All right. Great. So, are there any questions you guys would like to talk about? Otherwise, we'll do some aggregate demand shift practice. And I also have a game that we would have done as a whiteboard review game together in class if we had a class period for review, which we don't. But we could do the questions together as if you guys were doing them on whiteboards and we were talking about them together in class. Ooh, structural and frictional, heck yes. All right. So structural and frictional unemployment. So structural unemployment is when the person's job no longer exists or there's a mismatch between the jobs that are available and the skills that the available workers have. And that's usually or always because of a change in the structure of the economy. So either a technological change that now means certain skills are really valuable and other skills are no longer needed anymore. Could be a change in people's preferences, right? So like people use natural gas a lot now and don't really use coal anymore. So coal mining skills are not really valuable. And so there are a lot of now coal miners who don't have a job, but there are lots of jobs doing things in natural gas. So there's just a change in the availability of jobs. Yeah. And then so basically for identifying structural unemployment, you're going to want to look for the person's job no longer exists. So it's not available to them. Usually we can think of it geographically. So if a person doesn't have a job in their area that they are reasonably skilled for, sometimes they can move and sort of solve the structural unemployment by moving to a different location. But you'll see it described in stories as they want a job and there's no reasonable expectation of finding that job again. So like all companies are cutting that sort of job. So like one of the quizzes had an example of, oh, it's fine. An example of a newspaper writer, a newspaper worker, right? So someone who works at, you're so great, no worries. So someone who works at a newspaper and thus would not as newspapers are cutting workers because they're no longer doing print versions of the newspaper, right? So all the people who did all the typesettings and delivered the newspapers, those jobs don't exist anymore, right? And no newspaper is hiring for them. Okay, and then structural and frictional, yeah, okay. And then frictional is where the person would has a reasonable expectation of finding another job doing that same thing with their same skills, but they just have to move from one company to another, right? So maybe they were a bad fit for the company they were at, and so they got fired, or they quit. And so that's frictional. When there's a reasonable expectation of finding a job doing that thing, it takes them a while to find the right job, or they were a bad fit